This is a rare 1968 Keystone badge, serial number bearing. It's in the 6XXXXX chrome over brass Supraphonic. The shell is not spun. It is rolled and welded. It is rolled and welded in the fashion of the Super Ludwigs, 58 to 61-ish or whatever the hell it was. But those rolled and welded shells, as we all know now, the bearing edge gets formed, you have a 45, and then it curls over. There's a curl that goes around, both the top and the bottom. This has no curl. It looks like a spun shell, but when you look at it, it is actually rolled and welded. So it's rolled and welded, except it's just like a seamless, where the bearing edge comes up, you have a 45. Okay, there's no curl. I found this on eBay about 6 or 7 years ago. The person was selling his chrome or brass. I always look at it just to see. Sure enough, I look and I saw crimped snare beds. Okay, there's a couple different varieties of the crimped snare beds you'll see on Super Ludwigs. The Super Ludwigs had one that looked like this, like taller and narrower. Okay, and then what they did was they made them like this, almost like a Cheeto, going like this. Those you saw on the aluminum Ludwig ones with the crimped snare bed. I don't think I've ever seen a Super Ludwig chrome over brass that has the Cheeto-like snare bed. Seriously, it looks like a big fat Cheeto, kind of frowning. But the original one, it's more like almost the shape of a purse. Like it's like that. So this drum has the Cheeto snare bed, the kind you see on an early aluminum, no serial number. It's the same snare bed. Anyway, so I bought it. I forgot what I paid for it. It wasn't cheap. Excuse me. It's an almond joy. A little coconut got caught in my schnacken. But as I'm saying, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. Okay, the hoops are they're regular Ludwig steel hoops. They're not chrome over brass. It has a round knob tone control. Okay, and it has again those Cheeto type snare beds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you up close this drum. And I made a video about this once before, probably 5 years ago after I got it. But the reason why I'm making the video again is, one, I'm going to sell it, and I want to educate people on it, so I feel like I can buy people to get what's fair for it, to be totally honest. Remember, you don't have to buy it. I'll offer it at some price. Nobody has to buy it. I'm going to hang on to it. But this is a scarce drum, and this is what happened. This is why. Because a second one turned up. Okay, one-off could be, as all the guys I talked to said, oh, it could be a one-off. They were asking about. Well, on eBay, 6 months ago or a year ago, somebody was selling this exact drum. Not the exact same physical drum, but the exact same style. Rolled and welded, no curl over, and the serial number pretty close. And his story in his auction was that Bob Yeager from West Coast Percussion, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it. Bob Yeager ordered a bunch. Of course, the story probably goes there's 200. Remember, there's 200 of the B-stamped 1970 Ludwig 5x14, or 200 of the Ludwig acrylite prototypes. You know, there's always 200. But anyway, Bob Yeager ordered a bunch. I think the fella said in his auction 100. So maybe 50 5x14s and 50 6.5x14s. So anyway, this fella had the exact same drum. Crimped snare beds, rolled and welded shell. So I'm going to show it to you, okay? Come over. Okay. There's the badge. There's the inside of the drum. And the seam is right here. Now look closely. That is the seam. You can kind of see where it's been. You can see it here. Okay, that is a seam. They did a hell of a job. You don't see anything on the outside. And then there's the snare bed. See the snare bed? And on the other side too. And it has that tone control. It's steel strap, not black. which is reminiscent to me of the early 60s ones. Anyway, so that's the, so I'm going to sell this on eBay. I'm putting it up there for what I think is a fair price. Because like I said, Ludwig, when he sold his drum last year, I forget what he got for it. I thought it was like $875. But I took screenshots of the auction. I have that information. So I'm going to put this up on eBay for what I think is a fair price for the scarcity. They exist. You got to look for them. Look for, it's in the 600s, 600,000 serial number. Every time you see a 600,000 serial number, take a closer look at that drum. So this could be, you know, maybe they made these, and then when it came time in 1970 or 71 to make the B stamp, maybe like, you know what, let's spin those. Let's not roll and weld them, let's just spin them. You know what I mean? And again, too, remember, on those early 70s, 1970, 69, 70, 71, or whatever the hell it is, 72, the 5x14s have a B above the butt plate, B stamped. The 6.5s have a B behind the butt plate. It's important for you to remember. So I know of two of them. One, Peisty Bob got one in a trade a decade ago. Came over, we were checking it out. I'm like, yeah, that's brass. I scratched it off. You could see it was brass. But I happened to look behind the butt plate and you could see the B. It's hard to see. Anyway, on eBay about a year ago, I saw another one on eBay. I didn't have the funds at the time, so I called up George. I said, George, you got to buy this drum. It's chrome over brass. And the odd thing is, the B was more visible. And I told the guy, before I talked to George, I said, dude, you know, that could be a brass drum. Is there a B behind the butt plate? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I think it's brass. He's like, I don't think it's brass. And that's all he said. So I told George, and George bought it. So Peisty Bob and George, we've appeared as the three of us in videos. Peisty Bob and George are the only people I know that are knowingly in possession of a 1970, 69, 70, 6.5x14 chrome over brass with the B behind the butt plate. I think both serial numbers are like, one is 749 something something, and the other one's 754. No, they're both 75, one's 754, maybe one's 758. XXX. Anyway, but we're talking about this drum. Okay, this chrome over brass, Keystone badge, 1968. So we can see what the serial number is when I held it close. So I'm going to look to sell this thing on eBay. But like I said, I'm probably going to be laughed at, or a lot of my drum collector buddies whom I know, like Randy and some of the guys, they might be like, look at that greedy mother trying to get... I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times in my life, I've sold stuff very cheap to people. And then not that long later, they're selling it for $1 jillion. So I'm going to throw this baby on eBay because I'm telling you, these exist. Everybody start looking for them, okay? And the ones, it's like, what is this serial number? Hang on. All right, this one's 609. 609, so that's earlier in the 6s. I think Ludwig is like 6'4 or 6'3. The one that he sold for like $875 bucks. I think it was that. Don't quote me on that. Might have been more, might have been less. I didn't follow the auction all the way through. There was a period of time I wasn't really looking at eBay, but I did see that. And the important thing to me was that I took the screenshots. All right, so what I'm doing here is what I always do. I'm just getting the rods nice and flush before I start doing my tune. Get them flush. You know how they're flush? When you're spinning them, they'll stop going back and forth like this. They'll stop. They'll spin nice and sturdy straight up. That's when you know you're flush. Okay? It's a quick, okay, we're flush here. But part of the reason why I'm making this video is that it's really exciting. For all us Ludwig collectors, keep your eyes peeled. These exist, okay? A lot of people made the assumption if it's a Keystone badge has a serial number, it's not brass, it just isn't because they're not out there. They are. All right, so here we go. Getting the wrinkles out. Remember, using the thumb and the screw-u finger. Thumb pushing, screw-u finger pulling. Okay, hang on. I don't have any snare wires on this guy. What? I do. Remember, you want your snare wires at Bonneville. I'd say to be Little tighter than that. Huh? No, a little tighter than that. There we go. I have a Ludwig, I'm sorry, an Evans Orchestral 300 on the underside. I have an Evans HD Dry on top, because that's the way this drum came to me. No, actually no, it came with the Evans top, but I put the Evans 300 on the bottom. So I didn't, it's not tight enough. I'll tell you right now. Hope everybody's well. Again, more videos on the way where I'm going to be playing the drums. And just what I'm doing is I'm clearing out my studio downstairs to make some room. I want to do interviews with drummers. I'm going to interview George Flutist, as I've said, John Perrin. I'd like to get Don Brewer of Grand Funk. I'd love to get, honestly, Don Henley, Stuart Copeland, Jimmy Chamberlain. See, I'm going to answer the questions. Interviewers never ask the questions that that a lot of us drummers want to know. You know what I mean? I mean, you want, like, well, who influenced you? Yeah. But don't tell me about your first drum set. Tell me about your first practice. How much did you practice? What did you practice? When did you first take lessons? When did you first go in the studio? With the click track, without a click track? This specific recording, what editing, those types of things. And I want to be the interviewer. All right, so this is it. So this is the chrome over brass steel hoops, okay? I'm gonna put this baby on the eBay. Anyway, more videos on the way. Thank you for, if you enjoy my channel, thank you for enjoying my channel. Please subscribe below. There's the subscribe button. And to the right of that, there's a bell, shaped like a bell. Click on that, because then you'll get notifications. Remember, check out Bonhomology with George Flutist, PFOZ, People's Front of Zeppelin, with George, Ivan, Pete, and Ty. Also my friend Vintage Drummer here on YouTube. Vintage Drummer, my friend Ryan Jurovic. And then get ready for the video of me playing the Ludwig Elusive I bought. The black 24, 13, 16. I'll be playing those babies very soon. In a video. I have these cans because it's really helpful when you have a can like this. You can set the whole thing down on it and work. So thank you for watching. Don't forget bonzolium@gmail.com. That's my email address, bonzolium@gmail.com. I sell some coffee mugs merch, some of my Bonzolium 2A sticks. I have those for sale, and t-shirts, the white Bonzolium with blue ink. Bonzolium@gmail.com. Don't send me money first. Anybody who's bought from me before, do not just send money and assume I'll get it. You have to email me first with your order, and we'll talk about it. Any questions about Zeppelin or Bonham or anything? I also teach lessons. Lessons, bonzolium@gmail.com. More on the beginner side. I'm kind of good at it. I'm still a beginner. Thank you for watching. More videos on the way. Stay healthy.